Hi everyone, this is a step-by-step guide for your assignment 1, which is to design a thank you card. So the first thing we want to do is to get a new document. So we go to File, New, and this pops out. I'm going to press the A5 for Press Ready. I'm going to check that I've got 210mm across, 148mm high. My document units are in millimeters. My DPI is in 300. I'm going to go to the pages and I'm going to make one page. Color is CMYK and we'll stick with the US web coded. Margins should be 3, and you can, if you have your link connected, you can unconnect it to do it individually or have it connected and just write in 3 and it'll do it for all of it. The same is true for the bleeds. Again, you can change it. I've got it 3, but I'll just show if I put in 5, it'll do 5, but we need it to be 3. So 3, and then we'll create. The next thing we want to do is to put in our guides. So we go to View, Guides, and then we click on here and it'll add the halfway guide for the halfway vertical, and this is half, which is also your fold line, and we'll go close. That's fine for the moment. The next thing we want to do is to save it. So I'm going to save. I'm going to do it as give it my title. You give it any title that you want, just so I can keep tabs of it. And then I'm going to pop it into my thank you cards and just go save. I'm going to save. This is not the first one I've done. So then now we want to start designing the front page, the front of the card. So I'm going to go to the left-hand side to the Place tool. It's going to bring up where I can find my image, which you should be able to find in your assignment briefs. And this is assignment 1 in images, and I'm going to pick the flower. So we open it, we drop it in, and then we need to be able to move it. Make sure that you're still on your black move tool. Click on the flower, and we're going to pick up, and we just point and hold on the mouse, and I'm going to just take it up diagonally because it'll keep it in the right ratio, aspect ratio. I don't want it to go squidge it down or squidge it across. I want it to be the same aspect. So I'm just going to make it a bit bigger, put it across. If I'm struggling a bit, I can right click on my mouse, convert to picture frame, and this will be able to edit the image within the boundary box. So if I want to, I can move it up and down within the boundary box. And if I want to make it bigger or smaller, I can do that as well. I'm just going to make it maybe a little bit. I think I actually want to move the whole box. So I click onto the boundary box and I will be able to move it along. It just takes practice. So that's the image that I'm going to use. Then I want to write thank you. I can either write it in the artistic or the frame text. The artistic one is better for like headlines and things like that. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to put in a thank you. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. Again, it'll keep the ratio if I pull it out from the corners, which is what I want. And then I'm going to select the text. So I click with my mouse and then hold it down as I swipe across. And I'm going to change this to a different font. Again, I've included this font in your pack. I will know that it's called Jerry Hug. So that's what I want. I click on it and I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. I want to make sure that it's centered. So to do that, instead of worrying too much, if I wanted to center it with regard to the image, that means that those two are now centered as the image box and the thank you. But actually I want to center it onto the page. So as an easy way of doing that, instead of working out all the numbers, I'm going to go over to the picture box frame box and just take it across to the edge of my page, all the way from wherever the fold is to the edge of your page. I'm going to go to the ruler with my mouse, click on the ruler, keeping my mouse down and selected. I can pull out a guide. I'm going to take the guide right to the middle of that picture box, and then I'm just going to delete it, go back up to my black move tool and delete. So now I know that my thank you is in the center. Now I'd like to change the color of the thank you text. So I'm going to click on my text tool, put my cursor inside the text tool, and then select it by holding down the mouse, left hand side, and I'm going to get the color from the image. So I'm going to go back over to the left and click on the color picker tool, and I'm going to select a color from inside the image. Could be anything. We'll go purple this time. So that's the front cover design. And then we'll do the back, which would be the same for all of your different cards. I'm going to get your logo. So I go back to the tool and I'm going to pick up the logo and drop it on the page. With my move tool, I can bring it in. It's a bit big, so I'm going to go onto that corner and just scoop it up. I think that's about right. The next thing I want to do is, this time I'm going to use the frame text tool, and I'm just going to pop it along here, and I'm going to get the text, which is, if I go in here and indicate this, I'm going to make sure that it's in Baskerville, which it is. I want it semi-bold. I want it about 14, the size of it. So I could bring it down or up, but I think 14 is about right. I'm also going to put it in the center so that it'll always be centered. So the next thing I need to do is to add in to the place tool, and I'm going to, from the same place I got the flower and the logo in the images, and again I want it on that, and I'm just going to make that smaller, pulling it up from the corner, just because that will keep the ratio for me the way that I want it. So now I have my cross, be about that sort of size. I might need to cut it. Have my cross, and then I need to insert the text, contact information. So I go back to my frame text tool, I create the space for it, and I insert the text. So I've inserted the text. Now we just need it to start looking the way we want it to. So this has come out as Baskerville. I'd like it to be maybe semi-bold. I like the size of it at 12. I could make it a bit smaller. And then the email and telephone number I think would look nice in Avenir. And I think we will give it a medium and keep it to about 9 point more of a gap. And then I think that's fine. I want it to line up so that the bottom of the text and the bottom of the cross are about the same dimensions. I'm just going to come in and have a look, see if it is. It's a little bit off. So I can either make my cross a bit bigger to fit it. Again, pulling from the corners. I think that would be about right. So the next thing we need to do is I'm going to just bring this box in so that it's right on the edge of that org, right at the edge of the text. I've selected it. I'm going to press the Shift key, select the cross, right click on the mouse and group them together. So now they're just one item, which will help me later when I want to center them. So and I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the text tool again. I'm going to make a text box and I'm going to pop the text in. It's centered already. I'm going to just bring in the box to keep it a bit tidier. Nothing too. And I want all of these to be in the center. So I'm going to go out, which I've done by pressing Command O. You could be on Windows, it could be Control O. I'm going to go and do my trick where I get the box, but it gives me that halfway point. I go to my ruler again, press down on my mouse, pull over the guide, and it should be about there. And then I'm going to delete the box. Back onto my move tool, and I should now know which ones are about, so that they're all centered. The whole group, it will now be centered. And the same thing is true for these. So now, all I want to do, I'm going to press my Shift key down. I've selected a box. I'm going to select the next box, keeping the Shift key down the whole time so that I can move them as one group. And I'm just going to bring them down. All I need now is the card code. I'm just making this up. It's obviously too big, but it is in the right font, which is Avenir. It's a medium, which I think will work, and I'm going to bring it all the way down to 7. This is for your information more than for anything else, so that you know what your code is. I pressed on the black. I'm just going to pop it about there. The same kind of level. I just want to check, see how. And again, I can bring a guide down by going up to the ruler, pressing down on my mouse and pulling it, so long as I have it on my black move tool, pulling it down, and I'm just going to line it up with the text. So although the boxes have lined up, my text has not. And then I just move, I'm using my keys on my keyboard so that that is now in the same line as the text. I'm now going to press Command 0, or for Windows it's Control 0, so I get the whole card. And I want to just quickly check to see if it's the way that I want it to look and not be distracted by guides and the edges of boxes. So I can go down and go into preview mode and look at it, and that's how it will print out. I'm fairly happy with that at the moment, so I'm going to press File, Save, and that is our first card designed.